Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening from wherever you are joining us today. Thank you so much for being with us. It is morning here in San Diego. My name is Gabi Hoffman. I serve as Senior Director for the International Services and Engagement Office. And today we are going to be focusing on undergraduate student life and getting involved at UC San Diego. We're excited that you're here, and we hope that you will find this a helpful resource as you start your journey as a new Triton. So I'm going to take just a moment here to allow our panelists to introduce themselves. As I mentioned, my name is Gabi Hoffman. I am Service Senior Director here at the International Services and Engagement Office, and I'll pass it along to my colleague, Adam.
And my name is Adam McKinney. I use he, him pronouns. I manage the International House over on the Eleanor Roosevelt College campus, and I'm here with Julian Zepeda, who I will allow to introduce himself as well.
Hello, everyone. My name is Julian Zepeda. I use he, him pronouns, and I'm the program coordinator here at iHouse.
Okay, thank you, Adam and Julian. Next slide, please. So here's a snapshot of how we're going to be spending our time together today. We're going to be giving an overview of the International Services and Engagement Office and what we do. The International House, iHouse, will be doing the same. We'll be going over the various different programs that our different offices organize, including other ways to get involved beyond our initial spaces. We will have a student panel today, which we're very excited about. Hearing from student voices is so important. And then we'll share some additional resources to help you get started here at UC San Diego. All right, so before we officially begin, just a little bit of housekeeping. We want everyone to know that you are in listen-only mode. So that means that you can hear us, but we cannot hear you. You are free to ask questions. Please do so. You can use the Q&A feature to submit questions. You can also contact us at icontact.ucsd.edu for larger questions or more in-depth questions. We are recording, so you will be able to view this webinar recording afterward at inewstudentwebinars.ucsd.edu. Before we get going here, finally, I'll briefly go over the Zoom control panel that you all have. Again, if you'd like to submit a question, you may send it through the Q&A button on your control panel, and it will be sent privately to the presenters and the panelists. All presenters will stay online for about 15 minutes or so after the webinar completion to answer questions. And if we see certain questions, common questions that come up, we will read these out loud so that everyone can benefit from the answers, but we will not identify anyone who asked a specific question to protect your privacy. All right, so first, a brief introduction of ISEO, or the International Services and Engagement Office, who are here to support you throughout your time at UC San Diego. ISEO offers a number of different services here on campus, including pre-arrival support and orientation, such as the webinar that you are attending today. We are also the office on campus that will support you in maintaining your status here as an international student. So if you're coming in F1 status or J1 status. To do so, we offer virtual and in-person advising, we process immigration documents, and a number of other services. In addition to that, we also offer a number of programs and events to cultivate a globally engaged community here at UC San Diego. Our vision is to foster an inclusive and globally engaged university where all members of the international community have equitable opportunities to achieve their academic, personal, and professional goals that cultivate a culture of global citizenship. So now let's talk about our populations that we serve. We are fortunate enough to have a very robust international community here at UC San Diego. We support over 10,000 international students, including both enrolled students, as well as students who are here working after graduation. We also have over 2,000 international faculty and scholars who work here at UC San Diego. And with these international students and scholars, we support over 1,000 international family members during their time here. To do so, we work collaboratively across the campus with a number of different partners to support our service population of just under 14,000. But let's take a moment here and just focus specifically on international students. As you can see here, we have over 8,000 students currently enrolled, with a pretty even split of about 4,000 undergraduate and graduate students, respectively. You can see the most popular academic departments as well as places of origin here. However, we have students coming from over 100 different countries, so you're joining a robust international community here at UC San Diego. So on behalf, again, of the International Services and Engagement Office, welcome. We recognize that this journey that brought you here may not have been an easy one, and we applaud you for your courage and resilience in coming to UC San Diego and making this your choice. We are truly excited to have you join us. We look forward to the many ways that you will enrich our campus and the opportunities you'll have to learn from one another. We look forward to supporting you in the months before you arrive and can't wait to meet you once you get here. All right, now let's dig into some first steps checklist items, some action items that you want to take before you get started as a new Triton. The first one is to make sure that you log in to your applicant portal and complete your enrollment checklist. We know there have been some delays with admissions. The university is embarking on a new student information system, which is a huge endeavor that has led to a couple of weeks delay, but not too much. And so that means that students should, though, be able to access their applicant portal and enrollment checklist now. So please go ahead and go in there and make sure that you are accepting your offer of admission to UC San Diego and that you are completing the California Residency for Tuition Purposes questionnaire if that is required of you. We also want to direct you to the inewdegreestudent.ucsd.edu webpage. This is the webpage that resides on our website. This will guide you through specifically how to request your visa documents from ISCO. You can find a direct link to this page in your applicant checklist as well that I just referenced earlier. So make sure that you're consulting with this as soon as possible to book that visa appointment. In terms of pre-arrival and onboarding and supporting you in getting here, we support our new admitted students during every stage of their pre-arrival journey. So we typically divide the pre-arrival and onboarding processes into 3 different parts. First, we offer pre-arrival webinars like this one during the months of March, April, and May that cover topics like how to apply for your US student visa, housing, student health, immunization, and insurance requirements, and more. And then students will have June, July, and August to complete iTriton, which is an online orientation course. And then in September is when we get to meet you at new international student orientation. So most of you have joined us for some of our pre-arrival webinars featuring topics listed on the screen. As a friendly reminder, inewstudentwebinars.ucsd.edu is both where you can sign up for future webinars as well as view the previous webinar recordings. So please note there's about a week typically of turnaround time from hosting a webinar to posting on the website. So just give that a few days once this one is complete, for example, and other future webinars. But you'll see the other webinars coming up, as well as recordings that reside on the inewstudentwebinars.ucsd.edu website for your review. All right, and then to help guide you through the adventure ahead, we have created an online training module called iTriton, which I referenced earlier. This will map out your journey as an international student here at UC San Diego. There are 8 modules which cover various topics relevant to the international student experience. And we've arranged these modules in order so that you encounter them during in the way that you encounter them, during your program, so it makes the most sense as you're accessing them. Be sure to pay close attention to the caution modules that are in this course as they demonstrate some of the top issues that international students face with their immigration status. So you'll see here instructions on the slide of how to access iTriton. You do have to accept your invitation to the course that should be coming. So make sure that you complete that before you attend in-person orientation here in September. You have all summer to complete it. So we're giving you ample time, but make sure that you do this before you come to UC San Diego. And then finally is our orientation program, as mentioned. We have many welcome events during international orientation to provide a great opportunity for you all to meet other UC students. And examples of some of those events and programs include the UC San Diego bus tour, an international social, intercultural communication workshops and meetups for students, by students, and more. So after you've completed iTriton, after you've come to some of our orientation sessions, just know that there are many opportunities to meet other students and socialize with other international and domestic students once you arrive. I also want to direct your attention to our welcome guide. ISCO has created a welcome guide that is filled with helpful checklists and interactive links. This guide is incredible because it's also designed by students who have experienced UC San Diego coming here and adjusting to life here. So there are really, really helpful tips, everything from how to dress for the weather here, to how to be, prepared for packing and classes and all sorts of different things. So if you take a look at our main website, isco.ucsd.edu, then go to programs/guides. That is where you will find this guide directly. We also send out information about the guide in our regular newsletters that go out every 2 weeks or so. So keep an eye out for that so you can access that directly. Then we have our surf check guide. So this again is a complimentary guide to the checklist that I went over earlier. Again, this goes into a lot more depth in terms of how to be prepared to come to UC San Diego. A surf check is an action done, the way we use this terminology, is an action done by surfers to survey various conditions at a location to get an understanding of what the surf conditions will be like. So that's why we call it the surf check guide. Just like a surf check guide, ISE will be providing the necessary knowledge and experience to help you navigate your way to an exemplary experience at UC San Diego. So from, again, what to pack to the best eateries on campus, we'll cover everything that you need to know. And again, this will be highlighted in the newsletters, but you can also access it on our website. You can just search Surf Check and it'll pop right up on our website. And then finally, before I hand it over to my colleague Adam, I wanted to just review the different programs that we offer to our students throughout the year. So this is just a small snapshot of what you can see here. We have our global coffee hours that we run on a monthly basis. This allows for students and scholars and staff to get together in a casual setting, enjoy coffee, donuts here outside of our building, and just get to know one another and socialize as you start your day here at UC San Diego. English in Action is a long-standing program here at ISCO that partners international students wanting to improve their English language fluency with a native English speaker so that you get that practice and really become more comfortable with your English language skills coming to the United States. We have Triton Trekkers, which takes our international students, out into the beautiful wilderness of San Diego County, from the beaches to the mountains to the desert. There is so much to explore here. And these trips are specifically curated for our students who are just learning about the San Diego community and are curious about learning what we have to offer here in the beautiful San Diego area. We also have the International Student Advisory Council. This is a really important group of international student leaders who come together to discuss important issues that are facing our international students and to communicate those here to International Services and Engagement Office leadership so that we can advocate for them at the highest levels and make sure that we are looking out for their concerns. We also have game night, which is a really fun monthly event, craft event as well, also a monthly event. Again, very casual gatherings with students and scholars where you can play your favorite games, you can make a craft, you can do all sorts of different things, be creative, be with one another in community here as you get settled in and beyond at UC San Diego. So with that, I want to go ahead and pass it on to Adam, who's going to go over our offerings at our house.
Great, thanks, Gabi. Well, again, my name is Adam McKinney, and I manage the International House Programs and Events Office. International House, and if you want to head over to the next slide, is located physically on the Eleanor Roosevelt College campus. We are a few things. First and foremost, we're a global living learning community. We're comprised of, in a given quarter, upwards of 350 both international and domestic students who live under the same roof or roofs. And our goal is true immersion. So we tend to have both international and domestic students living within the same apartment units. We have single rooms, but we aim for a 50-50 ratio between our international and domestic students. So most of our units are 4-bedroom, and so we'll aim for 2 international students and 2 domestic students. That doesn't always happen in practice, but that's our goal. So heading down to the next slide. We are also a hub for globally oriented programming. And while we are a residential community, we are by no means exclusive to our residential population when we have when we host programs, which I'll get into in a moment. But everything that we do largely takes place again, here at Eleanor Roosevelt College in the Great Hall. There's a picture of the Great Hall down at the bottom left of this slide. It's hard to miss. It has the tall white pillars and is home to all of our signature events. So heading down into the next slide. We are a community built around global awareness, cultural understanding, and international friendship. And if you take nothing else away here, I just want to drive home that all students from all colleges are invited to participate in our programs. So next slide, I'll get into a bit of what those programs are. So the first and really kind of primary signature program that we offer during the academic year are our language conversation tables. This event takes place on Tuesday afternoons from 5 to 6 p.m. in the Great Hall. And it is an opportunity for volunteer hosts to facilitate a language table, which entails roughly an hour of informal, out of the classroom conversation. Great opportunity to either practice a second or third language or to just spend some time speaking your native tongue with folks who are there and looking to build community as well. We noticed that individual tables will actually form strong bonds over the course of a quarter and even year because our hosts tend to return on a quarterly basis. So we open up our applications for both participants and hosts, again, on a quarterly basis, and are generally able to host upwards of 10 to 12 languages during a given quarter. So heading to our next slide, we also offer a program that we call the Global Forum. We collaborate with various campus partners and student leaders to put on a series of programs on global topics and international affairs. In the past, this has primarily taken the form of a lecture series, but we've been really building this out. Julian, our program coordinator, who you will hear from next, and our team of wonderful interns, Kaylin, you'll meet during the student panel, are really doing a lot of work to expand what a global forum can be. So recently, we've been lucky enough to host an Academy-nominated film screening, panel discussions, dream spaces, and performances by local artists and faculty members. Previous and upcoming topics include global impacts of Afrofuturism, science fiction and radical imagination. And coming up this quarter, we are platforming an event about flamenco, which will delve into language and cultural appropriation. Again, these tend to be on Wednesday afternoons and evenings, roughly between 5 and 7 p.m. So heading down to our next slide. The last signature program that I'll touch on specifically is our Sunday Supper. This is our oldest and really largest tradition. We host a quarterly banquet, semi-formal banquet, that is in part planned by a student committee to put on themed formal events to commemorate the memories made as a community. Again, like our other programs, while we are inviting iHouse residents to come together to break bread, this is by no means limited to iHouse residents themselves. So the event itself includes a dinner, sometimes a student talent showcase, games and activities, and most importantly, a chance to come together in community. So all of these programs are always listed in one of several areas. Our Instagram, which you'll see right there, iHost UCSD, is probably the best way to stay in touch. You can also scan the QR code for links to our programs and upcoming events. Our website is listed there. And then we have a weekly newsletter that you can subscribe to if you want to delve deeper into a lot of our offerings. With that, I am going to actually turn it over to my colleague Julian, and he'll talk through a few other ways to get involved, not just here in ERC and iHouse, but across campus.
Awesome. Thank you, Adam. So one of the benefits of being at UCSD is that the global community is all around you across campus. And as Adam mentioned, I'll be talking about other ways to get involved. Moving to the next slide. So your main hub is going to be the campus events calendar. It's a centralized calendar that enables you to, like all the different events that are happening across campus, all the events that Adam had just mentioned, events that are happening, for example, at the library and exhibits and different ways to not only get involved, but you find your community here on campus. So the website itself is calendar.ucsd.edu. But if you are looking for programming that is focused on the offices represented here, you can find globally oriented programming at calendar.ucsd.edu/group/ievents-calendar. And this will have all of our centralized programming. So if you're looking for iHouse programming, ISEO, or study abroad, you can find them here on this calendar. Moving into the Global Ambassador Program, this is a great opportunity that I invite all of you to take part in. The Global Ambassador Program, also known as GAP, is a summer-only peer mentorship program designed to assist incoming international undergraduate students in acclimating to a new environment and making a smooth transition into university life at UC San Diego. GAP is a great mentorship opportunity. Currently, I am recruiting mentors. And if you're an incoming international student and looking to find community, understand different ways to transition into life here in the United States, and also just get ready for your exciting time at UCSD, this is a great opportunity and a great head start. I also recommend this program because it's completely at your leisure. There are weekly emails that get sent out to your mentor, and you'll work with the mentor and find opportunities to connect about any questions or anxieties or concerns that you may have coming to UCSD or to California. It's also great to have a friend on campus before you actually step foot onto campus later in the fall. So to learn more and to sign up, I invite you to visit gap.ucsd.edu. Now, UCSD is huge, which means that we're home to so many different organizations, and I can go on and on of how many there are, but instead I'll invite you to look at different student organizations at studentorg.ucsd.edu. It's a great opportunity to find different orgs that are currently registered with the Center of Student Involvement. And these can range from cultural to professional to educational to even academic based organizations. So there's something for everybody and for everyone's interest. And I invite you to find this website just because it is very beneficial to find people who you relate to and find your sense of community. Once you do that, it's going to make campus life just a lot more inviting for you. And if that wasn't enough, we also do have several community centers. Some are their own entities and own organizations. Others are through living learning communities. And these are just a few that I want to list off: the Black Resource Center, Cross Cultural Center, Intertribal Resource Center, LGBT Resource Center, Raza Resource Central, Women's Center, and Apimeta. So if you're interested in getting involved and finding your cultural community here on campus, these are great opportunities. These are also places that I have visited myself as a student, and they've been really beneficial to have a place to study and to talk to people and just, again, find your community, because that's what you want to do here at UCSD. You want to feel that you are involved and part of something larger.
Thank you so much, Julian, for all that great information, Adam, as well. So yes, now we are moving on to our student panel section. We are very lucky to be joined by two current students today. If we move on to the next slide, it'll share their information, but I'd like to ask each of them to just give a brief introduction, who they are, and we'll just go ahead and get started from there. So maybe we'll start with you, Z.
Yes, hi everyone, my name is Z. I'm a current fourth year student from URC College in Elizabeth. I'm currently majoring in business economics and minoring in finance and theater. And I'm originally from Hainan, China, and I'm also one of the current student assistants over here at ISEO.
Hi everyone, my name is Kaylin. I am from Cypress, Orange County, California. I'm also an ERC student, currently in my second year, majoring in international studies, global business, as well as cognitive science with the design and interaction track. I minor in marketing, and I'm one of the program interns at iHouse.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Ziggy and Kaylin, for being here today. We're just going to go ahead and get right on into the questions. So the first question here is, what was the most challenging part of adapting to UC San Diego? Whoever wants to go first.
I'm happy to go first. I think to me that the first part is definitely adapting to a brand new lifestyle in a whole other country. Because I'm not originally from this country, so coming here not just mean that you're living in a total different culture, in a different landscape, but also living in a group of different people. So I mean, I started in living in residential halls over at ERC, so it just means that you're being in a community that's with people from a whole other country and sometimes different countries. So it just there's a lot of things to do to kind of form your own pace, but also kind of like fit into the community. Um, the second part would be, I would say, academic wise, just to get to the process of getting familiar with the American classroom style and forming your own ways of, studying and taking notes, and then kind of figure out what's the most comfortable way for you to kind of, review everything you've learned and then get connected to the professors, and all a lot of cultures and habits coming from there. And yeah, I would say that's what I spend most of my time doing in my first year, sometimes my second year.
No, I think she summarized it pretty well. I would agree. I think pacing is one huge thing here at UCC. I think in college in general, one thing that was really challenging to adapt to is how fast the quarter system could feel sometimes, because we only have 10 weeks to learn all this information. But I do think that we offer a lot of great resources on campus, whether in Oasis, which are some of our resources to help with writing or to help with math. I think UCSD does offer a lot of resources that helped me at least adapt to the fast pacing of quarter system and also help me find my community.
That's wonderful. That's a perfect segue actually into our next question, which is what resources provided by the campus eased the adaptation process? And Caitlin, you mentioned Oasis. Were there others that you kind of leaned on in your first years here? And how did you go through that process?
I think one of the biggest resources I use on campus is actually the physical spaces. I think a lot of places on campus are great study spaces. And so one place that I often went to were the lounges in ERC, as well as some of the common rooms. And they helped as like great study spaces where I could also study with friends. And I think that also made the process of studying a lot more fun, and it also helped me find community of with people who are also in the same classes. And so I think a lot of the campus spaces are great resources to utilize if you're not living on campus.
See, what about you? What resources helped?
Yes, I think just like what Kaylin just said, I definitely did utilize a lot of Oasis and Writing Hub and also supplemental instruction outside of classroom to kind of help me get into the whole like American classroom kind of style, and also just to get used to the pace of quarter systems. And other than that, I also personally really recommend CAPS, which stands for the counseling. I forgot like the full name of it, but it's the counseling services over here at UCSC. I feel like personally it because I never had any psychological counseling before college, so it definitely like having that kind of resources and having it accessible at all times definitely helped me to kind of like release mental stress and also talk about problems that I'm not able to talk about with people in my lives, and just kind of serving as a really um just a kind of really readily available resource. And also it's just like it definitely helped with a lot, keeping up with like a good mental health, especially in my first and second year. And also just to, kind of talk about problems and that might not be readily resolved in my life. So I think CAPS is definitely one of the things that I utilize the most.
Mhm. That's great to hear, Z. Yeah, CAPS, and thank you so much, Kaylin, for putting that in the chat. CAPS, or Counseling and Psychological Services, offers wonderful programs. We actually, in our global coffee hour that we run monthly, that I mentioned earlier, we do have our partners from CAPS who run a program called Art of Belonging as part of that, which is a really great way to get to know the services that CAPS offer, whether it's programs or connecting with others who are kind of going through the same experience. They're a wonderful resource. And one thing I'll just highlight as well, part of finding your community or finding the different things that really speak to you is a process, right? I think it's in that first year in particular. One thing I'll highlight, our events calendar on our website. We try to collect all of the various different programs that help support our students, are globally focused, but also really help focus on support programs and things of that nature as well. So if you're ever looking for just a kind of one place, right, to find the different programs offered on campus and have a global focus, we offer that on our website as well. All right, let's get into the next question, which is, how would you describe your experience as a student at UC San Diego beyond the classroom? Ziyi, maybe we'll start with you.
Yeah. I would say the first thing that comes to my mind is definitely very welcoming, and also just and that's because UCSC is such a big campus and big community. It involves a lot of students from different culture, different like countries in the world, and have different academic and also just life background. So essentially, that as long as you put yourself out there, you will be able to connect with people, with like diverse people that I might not otherwise have had the chance to connect to in my life. So it's so big, you get a chance to connect with everyone, and also it means that you will get to find your own niche in the entire community. Um, it's like there's always like a place for you. There's always like your own. There's always a niche that you can be doing your like own things. For me, for example, even if I'm a business student, I'm business economics, I'm also interested in theater, and that means that I'll also get a chance to, explore a lot of things in the theater community, do a lot of, productions with like professional or semi-professional people over at the theater department. It's just there's a lot of resources to explore, and sometimes the resources, like the amount of resource is more than people that are like in demand of them. So it's like um, as long as you're willing to explore and willing to, put yourself out there, you will always find, the resource that support your interest or support your ambition. So I think that's one of the things that's really unique at UCSC.
That's great. Thank you, Z. Kaylin, what about you?
Yeah, I just want to echo everything that he said. I agree. I think it's a very fulfilling experience. I would say I would describe it kind of like a TV show. Every day is a new episode. I'm doing something new. I think UCSC also offers a lot of great opportunities outside the classroom to get involved with any interest you have. So, for example, I recently started this past year doing classes at our recreation center. So I started doing Hapkido, which is a Korean martial art, a mix of judo and taekwondo. And I'm now my yellow belt. So I've been slowly moving up and I probably will continue doing it the rest of my time here. I also started rock climbing at our gym. We have a rock climbing gym, we have a swimming pool, and then we have the beach that's only like 10 minutes away from the ERC campus. So I've also been going to the beach a lot more, seeing the sunset with my friends. We also have a lot of great transportation options. So we have like buses in the trolley that can take you all throughout San Diego. So I've been also going every weekend to try new foods. My friends call it Fun Friday. So every Friday we'll go try new foods. And so I think outside the classroom, besides like the education experience, there's also a lot of opportunities to have a great like light work-life balance and to kind of explore the city, have fun, and try out new hobbies that you might not have done elsewhere.
I love that. Fun Friday. That's awesome. You hit on a couple of great points. That was actually another great segue into our next question, which was what extracurricular activities, have you been getting involved in or did you get involved in? And you mentioned, rock climbing, getting involved in the rec center, which is fabulous. They have so many different things going on there. Z, I'm curious for you from your perspective as well. What kind of extracurriculars did you get involved in here?
Yes, and also echoing what all the great things that Caitlin said, I was also able to be part of, be able to utilize a lot of resources from UCSC Recreation. I personally, rock climbing, swimming, and also I have also been to Try and Checker, which is one of the events that ISU hosts. I remember I went to the one that was on the kayaking over at La Jolla Shores, and it was really, really, really fun. Um, and also on campus wise, I personally have been, involved in different student organizations. I remember I was involved in associate students in my first year as one of the first year fellows. I remember I was also a member of Women in Business, WIB, which is also one of the business clubs over here at UCSC. And also just to get to the different events and programming such as career workshops, case studies, a prep interview, etc. These are all, great activities that really helped me kind of transitioning into, kind of having a business major mindset and kind of get me to be prepped with all this real life skill sets in terms of job hunting. Um, and yeah, that's what I would say. And then, student organizations, and then also just to explore all the events and programming hosted by university departments.
Wonderful. Yeah, there's so many things. It's difficult, to kind of squeeze it all in the time that you have here.
Yes.
Which is actually goes into my next question, which is what are things that you regret not having done yet as a UC San Diego student? Kaylin, maybe we'll start with you.
I think the first thing that comes to mind is surfing. I think surfing is a very San Diego thing, or it's very honed in this area since we have the beach so close. And so I think that's one, I guess, activity I would love to do that I have not yet done as a UC San Diego student. But besides that, I think there's a lot of opportunities you can utilize utilizing the UCSD email. So the .ucsd.edu gives you a lot of power to reach out to different people and try out different things, especially if you're looking for jobs. And I think it's a really powerful thing to utilize when you're emailing, cold emailing, or simply asking for coffee chats or just to talk to industry professionals. And I like to utilize my UCSD emails and all the benefits that come with that, including Canva Pro, a little bit more.
That is a great pro tip. Yes. Z, what about you? Are there any things that you regret not having done yet?
I was actually also going to say surfing. I have personally surfed before, but not in San Diego. So it's just something that has always been on my list, but I never have just like never able to get started and doing this at San Diego. So that's kind of has been kind of like a little bit of regret. And the second thing I would say, I'm gonna be very niche and say that I have not visited the Fallen Star over at the building over here at Warren. I just because I've always heard that it's such a popular place and you have to book like months in advance. I'm like, okay, like ever since my first year, I was like, okay, I have the time. I still have 3 years, but I only have a couple months. I only have like 2 months left right now, so I definitely should get started and then at least make sure I at least visit it once. And for those who don't know, Fallen Star is a art piece over at I forgot which building it is exactly, but one of the buildings over at Warren College, and I think it's like physics or computer science. I don't remember. But yeah, it's like a little house on top of a building that's kind of making it look like as if the house is gonna fall down. But it's a really, really beautiful art piece, and you'll be able to see it and like when you're walking down there, but also able to get inside the house. And everything in the house was nice tilted. So it's really cool. But I've never be able to see it. I never had the chance to like book an appointment there, but I'll definitely like that's just like this is the time for me to actually do it right now.
Yes, absolutely. Maybe this spring or summer we'll get a chance, Z. It's amazing. And Adam, thank you so much for putting that link in the chat. So Z was talking about the Fallen Star is part of a larger Stewart art collection that exists all over campus. We have a really broad collection of different art pieces that sometimes don't immediately seem like art. It's something you have yet to explore and see, but it's in all different corners of the campus, and that is one of the incredible art pieces that is really unique here at UC San Diego. And it was actually done by a Korean artist to, as Z was talking about, it's a house that is sort of teetering off the side of a building to sort of mimic the feeling of uncertainty or being a little bit out of balance and being in a new environment and sort of reflecting their experience coming to the US. So it's a really, really beautiful piece. Definitely worth visiting. Thank you so much for sharing that. So the next question I have, what piece of advice would you give to incoming international students? Whoever wants to go first.
I can go first. I would say it might seem really generic and broad, but it's really important for me to make sure that you take the time you need to do the transition and adaptation to the new culture and the new system. Just because, like I know in like a very big community, it's very easy to get swayed by how other people are doing things. But I think it's also essential to remember that like you will be as an international student as someone who might not be living in this system in this community for the first probably 17 18 years of your life. It's very important to give yourself the time to kind of absorb all those new information and new energy and then kind of have them form into your own system and then form your own pace like I said in the previous questions. And then for me it's essential to take as long as you want. For me, it's entirety of my first year and sometimes in my second year. And I'm looking back to the time during like when I'm looking back to those times, I still feel like I'm taking the time that I need, even if it's longer than than the way that other people's doing it. But again, it was essential for me to kind of, explore around the community and explore also, my own pace in life. And then eventually forming what the pace I'm in right now and looking back to all those times, they're all essential. So again, yes, take as much time as you need and as you want for the entire adaptation process.
Yes. Yeah, I think that was great advice. I would also say one thing is approaching everything with a very open mind. And I think there's a lot of differences that come with coming to a new place, even just coming to college in general. And I think coming at everything with a very open mind and putting yourself out there really makes the most of your time and allows you to kind of find those communities that fit your specific niche or just explore different communities because you never know what you'll find. So I think taking that step to kind of come out of your comfort zone and maybe try a new thing, come to a new event, come to our iHouse event.
Great. And the last question I have for both of you, what is the activity or place that one should not miss while being in San Diego or UC San Diego specifically? So the wider city or the campus.
I can go ahead and get started. The thing that comes to my mind is, which also what I personally done a lot is to take the bus 101 all the way from, it's like along the the ERC and 7 College, there's all the way bus stops for 101, and I just take the bus. Sometimes I just take the bus from there and all the way up to north. So it's like the bus goes along the coast, and then it will take you all the way to, I think, Del Mar. I think the last stop would be Oceanside, which is like really long way. But sometimes I get off at Del Mar, which is like a smaller town over at north of La Jolla, I believe. And then it was just it will stop also on like the coast side, like the coast side, and then you'll be able to get like if you walk for a little bit, you'll be able to see the beach. You'll be able to get to, just sit down at a park over there and just watch beautiful sunset. So I would say that's definitely like to me it's a must do because it's not like it's like you can get along, you can get off all the way on the bus route, not just in Del Mar, but also there's a lot of great beaches on the side. And for you just to, if you ride at like sunset time, you'll be able to just see the beautiful sunsets while you're on the bus and just get off at any stop that you want. And there's also like restaurant, like, places to get drinks, shops along the way. So I think it's like a hidden route, like a little bit of tourist routes, especially for people who live nearby.
Kaylin, any treasures not to miss here?
Yeah, I think the sunset is a great one to say. I think Gliderport, which is only like it's 10 minutes, so it's a 10-minute walk from ERC. I think that's a great place to see the sunset. It's a must do. It's really beautiful out there. Aside from that, I think one of the big things on campus that is kind of you should don't miss it, is UCSC offers a lot of great performances, both at Epstein Theater and at like our Mandeville Theater. And so we've had like Mere Musical, which is a completely free, full-blown production from our students, and it's usually really high quality. We also have Sun God, which is our annual music festival, also for free for students, where they bring in huge artists. Currently, they're bringing in Dominic Fike, and just some other artists. And then we have like Horizon, which are other pretty much free concerts and free music festivals that are all open to the students. And I think it's a great opportunity to listen to music, kind of get into this. I've never been to a concert, so UCSD was pretty much my first exposure and experience with all these sorts of festivals. And I think it's a great, like, it's a fun activity to do, and it's free. Once again, can't emphasize that enough. I think there's so many awesome things that our students plan for us, and might as well take advantage of those.
Yes, those are some great ones. Thank you so much, Kaylin Z. Well, those are the questions that we have for our wonderful student panel. I know we have a small group today, so I will save any sort of Q&A toward the very end. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and just wrap up with a few additional resources, reminders, as we close out our webinar for today. So as I mentioned, we've covered a lot of information today, so I want to make sure a few things do stick in your mind for things that you want to make sure that you tackle in the next couple of weeks as you confirm your admission here at UC San Diego. Next slide, please. So what you can begin doing now is you can actually begin requesting your visa documents via iServices. This just opened this week. Again, there were some delays with the new student system, but you should be able to access ISCO's iservices.ucsd.edu once you set up your student account after confirming your admission and going through your enrollment checklist through your applicant portal. You should also be able to start your on-campus housing application if you go to hdh.ucsd.edu. You'll see in June, that's when some of those housing deadlines start to come around. June 7th is for first years, and also for transfer students. And then in July, this is really important, usually around the middle of the month. This is the deadline to submit health immunization requirements and complete the OPHD training. Those trainings, those requirements as well, will all be outlined in your enrollment checklist in your UCSD application portal. And then in September is when iTriton is due. This is also, of course, move-in, check-in to ISEO. We'll be sending you more information about that. And of course, our new international student orientation. More information will be posted about iOrientation this year at iorientation.ucsd.edu. Our upcoming webinars, we have another one this week coming up on Thursday is on campus safety. So we'll have various different campus partners there to talk about having a safe experience while you are here at UC San Diego. April 28th will be our getting set up in the US. This is our what we call our Surf Check Live event to make sure that you have everything ready to go and you know what to bring and what to be thinking of as you come to UC San Diego. And then for our transfer students on May 5th, we will be going over the CBIS transfer process. And again, all webinars are recorded and are posted at inewstudentwebinars.ucsd.edu. All right. We want to thank everyone for being here again today. Just a couple of reminders. We have our what we call our office hours, these webinars that live on our website. Visit us at istudents.ucsd.edu. And you can also follow us on social media. We are very active there. This is a great way to connect with us and fellow students as well. You can see our various different handles there. But otherwise, we are very, very much looking forward to welcoming you here this fall. I want to thank our student panelists again for being here today, Ziyi and Kaylin, and offering all your wonderful insight into getting started here as a new student. Thanks, everyone, and we are eager to see you next time at our next webinar.